So we're going to talk about cyber threat intelligence, CTI. I believe we mostly know what CTI is about. We've spoken about it either in our first class or second class, and so far so good. The analysis, the questions we've been asking when we're looking at the logs, when we're looking at Wireshark and the likes, most of them are all about CTI. We are trying to gather intelligence. So what does the intelligence mean? After you've gathered every single information that you have available to you, your conclusion is going to form your intelligence. So for example, let's say you carried out analysis, you found out IP address for a particular C2 server, you find out the attacking mode, you've mapped the technique and tactics to the necessary military attack. Then you discover, maybe you discover the kind of threat actor that normally makes use of this technique or tactic, or the cyber threat group that a particular spy or a particular malware is associated with. That conclusion is going to form your intelligence. So for example, you're going to have something like the IP 1.2.2.3.4 is a known C2 server for the attacker group APT29, who is currently targeting financial institution using the Emotex malware. Right. So from this, anyone that read this should know that there have been a lot of investigation that has gone into this before you arrive at this. And this alone, this just two-line sentence that we just read is intelligence on itself. Now, some CTI questions that we normally want to answer when you are conducting cyber threat intelligence, you want to know who is attacking us. That's why we chase down IP address. That's why we chase down the reputation of any IP address that we find, right? We always want to know who is attacking us. Why are they attacking us? After we know who is attacking us, we want to also know why they are attacking us. Why are they actually attacking us? So we find out who is attacking us. We want to know why they are attacking us. We are not the only organization in the country. We are not the only organization in the states. So why are they targeting us? What do we have that these people are actually looking for? So we want to know, how do they attack us? That's the TTPs. How do they attack us? How do they get into our network in the first place? We have always been asking this question. What do they want? So we know who is attacking us. We know why they are attacking us. Okay, because we are a financial institution. We know how they are attacking us. They use the phishing email, and then they use that to to exploit someone's weak credentials in our organization. But now, what do they want? What is their target? Are they looking to steal our files? Are they looking to to create a backdoor, or are they looking to just bring down our server? We want to know what they want with us. And with that takes us to what is known as the pyramid of pain. So the pyramid of pain is basically like the level of pain that attackers feel when they manage to stop their attack, and how well can they quickly just build something else to continue that attack. That's what the pyramid of pain looks to explain to us. So it shows how painful it is for an attacker when we block one of their tools. For the easy to change, we have something like hash values. So you've identified a particular, let's say a particular file that was sent to our environment, and we've been able to identify that file as being malicious. So we decide to what? To use the hash value to block the hash value of that file from our network, so that when any of our employee wants to, or by mistake, try to download that file again, it will not be what? It will not be successful, because the hash value is going to be the same. We all know that as long as the content and everything of a file does not change, the hash value is not going to change. But if we block that hash value, it doesn't take them just what's it called? It doesn't take them a lot of time, maybe in just a matter of seconds, for them to come up with something else. They could just change a letter. We know that if you change a letter or you change even a number, maybe in the whole of the content you had, for example, in the file, you have like about 100 and something pages or about 100 and something line of codes were written. Now, if you just go at a particular place where they had, let's say, capital letter A, the hash value that was generated that time, if you go back and just change that capital letter A to small letter a, and you try to compute the hash value again, it will be different. So you can see, just by going in the matter of seconds, they've changed the hash value. And now, if our blocking is based specifically on that hash value, that means that file will come back into our network with another hash value. So hash value is easy to change for them, hence why it is at the bottom of the pyramid of pain. Then we have IP address and domain names. All these are also easy to change. If you block a particular IP address, for example, the one we worked with yesterday, that 88 dot something, if you block it, the attacker, it doesn't take them more than some minutes to what? To just get another what? To get another IP address. Just spin up another server. As easy as that. They will just spin up another server and voila, they have another IP address and they are coming back again. So again, if you're specifically blocking based on that former IP address, that means with the new IP address, they will still come back into our environment. Same with the domain names. They just have to buy a new one. So if you block, I want to rq.com, all they need to do is just buy another one and change it to, sorry, I don't want to rq.com. And then since you are blocking, I want to rq.com, you will not be able to what? You will not be able to block the other one. So those are easy for them to change. Then add to change. We are not talking about their tools, the tools that they use. The tools that they use. When, for example, now they have what's it called? A malware, like a ransomware. That is their tool that they are using to attack. And then you found that particular ransomware. You found it and you've been able to block it, you've dissected it, you've analyzed it, you understand how it works. You've upgraded and updated your detection rule. Now, if they want to come back, when we are dealing with malware, we go a lot of stages when we are writing the detection rule to block particular malware. It is not just the hash value of that file. There are a lot of signatures, there are a lot of behavior, there are a lot of strings that are attached into those malware files that you will use to build all these like Yara rules or any other detection rules, just to ensure that that particular ransomware does not come back to your environment. Now, the fact that you block that means you are automatically telling them to have to go and rewrite another malware. So it will take them a lot of time to try to figure out another way that they can write this malware that does not contain something you already know and blocks in your environment. So it will take them more time to do that. Then the TTPs, their tactics, and their technique that they use, that means they will have to what? They have to come up with different tactics. If initially the technique they used was to come in through the phishing line, they now know that there's possibility that you've not only blocked their server, but you've created awareness, you've educated your employees about the dangers of phishing. You've informed them about things to look out for. So they know that coming back through the phishing line is going to be difficult compared to how easy it was in their previous attack. If they are still going to come back using phishing, that means they have to create a more sophisticated email or attachment or link that during your awareness or whatever, you never covered. And what is our job? We start by blocking the bottom to stop the immediate threats. Then we study the top to do what? To stop the next threat. So that means when the threat to our environment, what we do first is we normally want to first block on hash value, you block the IP address, you block the domain, then you now start to understand their TTPs. You map them to meter attack, you gather intelligence from different threat intelligence platforms. Then you use all those to also what? To also block them. Now, we've been talking about IOC. We've talked about it in previous classes, and TTPs. We've been talking about this since the last class. What is their difference? Indicators of compromise, that's the IOCs. They are the what? They are like the piece of evidence in a crime. So an incident occurred, you've done your analysis, and what are the things you found? You find a particular file that was used to attack your environment. You know the hash value of that file. That is a piece of evidence. You were able to discover the C2 server's IP address, another evidence that this particular IP address is what? Is malicious. The domain is also what we call evidence. URL, evidence. When you click or when you execute the particular file, they download a file, a new file to your environment. That is another piece of evidence because that file was not there in your environment before you executed that malware file. They modify registry directory, they created what is it called? A file that is going to start immediately you boot your system. That's another what? Another piece of evidence. All these are what they are, the IOCs. And when you are writing a report, you have to include them. Their importance cannot be what? Over-emphasized. Then we have the tactics, techniques, and procedures, the TTPs. These are just the how. How did they come into place to come and what? To come and drop all these pieces of evidence that we've gathered. Their behavior, the actions they took that led to everything you've gathered. The attacker sent a phishing email, and the phishing email contains what? A zip attachment containing a VBS script, which eventually runs a PowerShell script to download a file from, let's say, Pastebin. And what do you do here? You hunt for the TTPs. While for the IOCs, you block them, the TTPs, you hunt for them, you map them. When you map them, it can help you to what? To correlate and see if there's any group or any particular attacker that makes use of this kind of procedures, technique, or tactic. Then you'll be able to what? You'll be able to say that, oh, I think we've been attacked by Mighty Lion. I think we've been attacked by APTBs. I think we've been attacked by whatever. Now, the phishing analysis. By now, you all know that phishing is one of those old attack method or vector that has been in use till now. It has grown a lot from the way we know it before. It is always about go and check if there's any spelling mistake, maybe where they're supposed to use a particular verb, they went and used adverb, they're supposed to use noun, they use adjective. All these ones are for the people that studied English, people that know all those ones. But most of the time back then, we check for all these misspelled words, sentences that does not really make sense, urgent word, urgent sentence. These are things we checked for. But now, phishing email has grown to the point that if you like, check, you will not see anywhere any words are misspelled. And the use of English or the use of any language that the attacker employ is going to be as correct as possible. There is no necessary point of urgency in emails. They just send it like legitimate emails, just like the way the normal organization or the normal person are supposed to send you email. So it's analyzing phishing email, identifying phishing email has now grown from looking at misspelled words or sentences to what? To more advanced analysis. And what is it called? There are several ways now to identify phishing analysis. Mind you, there's still some phishing email that the old method of identification can still work on. We all know all these crypt kiddies, all these wannabe hackers. It's not as if they really know a lot. They just learn one or two things and then they will just decide, oh, let me try this thing on these people, whether it's going to work. So they might not be as careful as seasoned attackers. So their method can still be what? Can still be the traditional method. You might still be able to detect them. You might still be able to identify them based on words that they use in their email. So what is your job? Your job as the SOC analyst or as an IT security personnel for your organization when you are analyzing email is to determine, is it a spam? We all know this. Sometimes, whether it is legit or not, there are emails that end up in the spam. So we want to determine whether a particular email is truly supposed to be in the spam or not. And if we are dealing with an attack, is this a form of, for example, a credential harvester? Maybe it's an attack that, when executed, is going to steal users' password. Is it malware? And if it is malware, what type of malware are you dealing with? We have 3-step process. The first, the headers. The headers are the email's envelopes. They tell you the real path an email took before it reached the receiver. You're going to have the from. This is where the email comes from. This is the sender's email address. You're going to have the reply to. So when you open an email and you click on that reply to, you're going to see the email that message is going to go back to. Then the received, you read this from bottom to top. And this shows what the actual servers it passed through. Then we have some some tests that are run when you receive emails. We have the SPF, the DKIM, and the DMARC. The SPF, which is the sender policy framework, this contains a list of approved mails, approved mails carriers, approved mail servers. So what's it called? An organization that wants to send emails, they will have some servers that can send emails on their behalf, right? They can send emails on their behalf, and these servers are going to have been registered with the organization. So when you see them, you will know that yes, truly they came from this organization. And what does SPF test try to look for? It tries to see if the server that sends that email is actually a server that is associated with the sender. Is it a server that has been given the right to send that email on behalf of the sender? So you can have the SPF, it can pass or it can fail. So if it passes, that means SPF has determined that the server that sends that email is authorized by the sender to send you that email. And if it failed, that means it found some discrepancy in the server. Maybe the server is not actually registered or is not authorized to send emails on behalf of that company. Then we have the DKIM, that's the domain keys identified mail. The DKIM is just like for integrity. It contains a kind of a tamper-proof digital seal. I believe you guys already know about all this encryption, cryptography, signed certificate, and the likes. We all know that the essence is to ensure that the content of the mail is the same as it was when the sender sent it. Nothing has changed during the route it took to get to the receiver. So it kind of add like a cryptographic signature to the email. And when it gets to the DKIM, we try to what? We try to determine this. Then we have the DMARC, that's the domain-based message application reporting confirmation or something. I've forgotten, right? But this is more like a rule book. This is more like a rule book. The DMARC is going to check the what's it called? It's going to check the value of the SPF and the DKIM to determine what the next step is going to be. If the DKIM or the SPF fails, does it mean the DMARC is supposed to block that email from getting to your environment, or does it just send the email address and the email to your what's it called? To your spam folder? So the DMARC use a set of rules and work with the result of SPF and DKIM to determine the next step. Another thing we analyze in emails are the body and the links. So like I mentioned before, the body, you might come across some certain form of urgency, because the goal is to not only scare the what they call the victim, but to ensure that they do not have the time to think. Imagine someone, you receive an email that your bank account, that someone has been tampering with your bank account, they seem to be sending money from your bank account. And we want to know if truly you are the one, you authorized this transaction. Please immediately log into your account to confirm that this is authorized by you or not, so that we can block it. You can see first, they've sowed the seed of fear in the victim. Because now you are scared, you are worried, oh, who is transacting with my account? How much have they moved from my account? Now they are telling you, you should immediately log in to confirm that this is you or this is not you. So in that state, you will what? You'll not be able to think. All you just want to do is you want to log in immediately to confirm that this is not you. They should help you to block your account. And from there, you give yourself to the people that actually want to take your money. And this kind of method still work on our elders, those who are just maybe somehow exposed to the tech part of the world. They are not fully embedded in tech. They just know one or two things just to operate their phones and accounts. So they might not be aware of all these things. That's why all these form of urgency and scary emails are normally targeted at the elders, because they know that they can get scared easily and they might not even know what they're supposed to do. All they want to do is just quickly follow the instruction that you laid down for them. Then we have links. Sometimes these emails come with attached link that we ask you, click here to what? To update your account. Click here to confirm your account. As a matter of security, for personally, I do not, even if I'm the one that requested for that confirmation link, I don't just click those links without hovering my mouse on it to see the actual URL. Sometimes attackers try to they try to play with our intelligence. They know that most people will not over. Some people do not, till now, some people do not even know that when you over on those buttons that we say click here to confirm your email or click here to reset your password, that if you over on them, you're going to see the actual URL that you'll be directed to when you click on it. Some people still do not know. So attacker pry on that. So instead of giving you a full URL, we just give you that href. You just give you that href, you just click on it. So always try to over on these things to be able to see the actual URL that you are going to. And if you are still not sure, again, this is something that I do. If I'm still not sure of a particular URL, no matter how legit it looks, before clicking or before trying to just open it on my main computer, I can do two things. I can just, copy that link, go to urlscan.io or VirusTotal or any other platform that I can use, go there, paste it there, let them safely open it in their sandbox for me. Or if what's it called? Maybe if I have any of my virtual environment running at that time that is not directly connected to my primary OS, I can just go into there, paste that link. I'll just paste that link and see where I go from there, instead of just clicking it directly for it to interact with my primary operating system. And then, like I said, some tool to use to check the link, urlscan.io is one of them. Then the how to analyze an email, and for the part 3, the attachments. Sometime again, these emails come with files. They can just send you, because we noticed so transaction in your environment, we want you to, like the example I made, that log in to confirm whether you authorize this transaction or not. They might as well attach a file, and they can just say, this is the statement of accounts in the last 5 minutes, for you to see what is actually going on or what has been going on in your accounts. So they can attach a file like that. And then again, you trying to protect yourself, you trying to ensure that your December money is still safe in your bank account, because you plan to, 30 December, you quickly open that file to see how your money has been moving. Whereas you've just given the people that actually want to move your money, you've just given them the go ahead to do that. So again, when you start seeing .zip, .ra, HTML, exe, and doc, cm, vbs, .js, all these things are something you have to what? You have to be concerned about, and it is always advisable to what? To check for the reputation of this file, upload them to threat intelligence platform, run them in isolated environments, online sandbox like any.run or hybrid analysis, to what? To establish the legitimacy of those files. Here we provide what's it called? Some tools that you can use. And they are basically tools that we've been talking about since. You can make use of Google when you do something like this, http www.google search for this, and then you provide the query, that's the domain. The example here is just virus total. So you can just provide what domain you want Google to check for. Then you have urlscan.io, you have any.run. Okay, so this week's task, you're going to be given an email that was forwarded to your phishing inbox. You're going to analyze the headers, you're going to analyze the body and links, analyze the attachment and all. Then you get what? You go ahead to answer the attached question as always. Okay, I don't think we have much again. Do we all know how to actually get into like the header part email? Okay, Aisha.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I've seen phishing mail that actually had what was it called? The SPF, DMARC, and DMK, everything passed. Like there was no fail there, and it was classified as a phishing email. In this kind of scenario, what do you do?
Okay, so again, it all comes down to the fact that attackers have been creating a lot of sophisticated methods to attack. So it all comes back to what we all know, zero trust in cybersecurity, right? The SPF, for example, we said SPF, when the SPF passed, that means the server that sends, that sent you that mail is authorized to send a mail by the sender. That's what we said SPF is about. But what if the attackers had already gained access to that server? Or if they spoof that server? How will SPF know? Because SPF has a kind of a text-based file that it uses to run all these checks. So if it goes through its entries, it's going to find out that the particular server that sends this is authorized by the sender, and it's going to pass it. DKIM is there to establish integrity, that the content, when email is generated, a kind of what's it called, a signature is going to what? A kind of a hash value or a cryptographic value is going to be established for that. Now, when it gets to the DKIM is going to be able to see the value that was computed when the sender first sent that email. And then it is going to what? It is going to recompute that value again using the same algorithm, and then try to what? Try to compare the value to see if there's any difference or not. Now, what if we have an attacker that is living between the sender and the receiver? All they need to do is, if they have access to the email that is coming, they will just change the content of the email, and then they will compute another value that DKIM is going to check. So now the value that DKIM is going to check at that time means, what's it called? Means it's going to be that which the man in the middle had computed. So DKIM do not know that this thing has changed, because it uses that cryptographic value. Right. So when an email passes, and we all know that DMARC focuses on these two, it made its decision based on the result, the value of SPF and DKIM. If it passes them, DMARC is more likely to pass them. There are times that DMARC will still send legitimate emails that have passed SPF and DKIM. It will still send them to what? To the spam folder. But the point is, even if an email passes those checks, it does not guarantee 100% that what's it called, that the email is safe. The only guarantee that you have there is that the checks that SPF and DKIM were supposed to run, this email actually was passed them. So it is always important. That's why now what we have, the method that people use now to combat phishing email, especially the one that will be requesting for maybe credentials or sensitive information, or even for you to send them money. The best way now that people do is pick up the phone. If the person is not someone that's in their environment, that they can just walk up to ask, oh, I received an email from you, did you send it? They just pick up their phone, call the person on another line or through another method to confirm that they did send you a mail, and truly this is the content of the mail. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
All right. Any other question? Okay, so I wanted to ask, before I shall ask a question, that I hope we all know how to get to the headers part of emails. Do we have anyone that does not know how to do that? If you can, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not really sure, so I will need clarification on how to get to the header part of an email.
All right. Let me see if I can just, can I share? Can you see my new screen now? All right. So yeah, this is an email that I received. If you want to go to the header part of an email, you just come to these three vertical dots here that says more. Whether, I don't know if it is the same on the phone, but if you're using a laptop, just come here, click on it. In the options that are going to come up, you're going to look for show original. So you have it here, show original. Click on it. It's going to open another tab for you. And then it's going to present you with the header part of the email that you received. So this, you're going to have your message ID, the time it was created, where it came from, who received it, the subject, then the value for the SPF, as you can see, pass with this IP address, the server, the DKIM also passed, the DMARC also passed, right? And then some other information again. So as we mentioned about SPF and DKIM, let me quickly use this opportunity to also point out some things that you can look out for when you are analyzing an header. First, let's look at message ID. This is what we call, this is a unique value that is assigned to the email by the sender's server, and the domain at the end of the ID where you have at so email.agent.com. This domain should match the domain you will see in the form. If it doesn't, that is the red flag. So, and as you can see, this matches, right? So if, for example, I have email.agent.com here, I now have, let's say, email.clink.com in this one. That's different domain. So that is a red flag already. Then there is something that is the XPAM. I'm using my glass. The XPAM score, where is that? Come on, you people should be looking. I need to look. I'm not with my glasses here, so, and this thing is exceptionally tiny. So if you see X spam, as in X for X-ray, the way we have all this Megon SID. So I'm looking for the X spam score so that I can just quickly tell you guys about that as well. It's supposed to be this far down. It's not supposed to. X received, the also seal, the arc, the B, the arc message. Well, let me just, as we're going through, maybe we're going to see the exact point where it is. But normally the XPAM is kind of a filter that is always added by the receiving server. And it shows what? It shows the score for the spam, for you to know, for the receiving server to know if the email should be sent to what, to the spam folder or not. So based on several tests that the DMARC would have performed, it's going to what, provide a XPAM score, and it is that XPAM score now that will now determine if that email is going to end up in the spam or is going to what, is going to be sent to your inbox. Then you can look at the TLS status to see that it actually makes use of TLS. You all know that when we're talking about TLS, we're talking about encryption. So for you to know that, yes, everything is encrypted. Then you can look at the user agents, the Xmail user agents. You can take a look at that as well to see which user agent was used, so that you will not go and see something like call again, just like the one we analyzed before. Then another thing that goes without saying, is the dates. You always have to look at the dates. Then something I think I missed, okay. The return part is also something that is very important to look at when you are looking at an header. When you're looking at an header, the return part is another thing you need to look at. Sometimes, these attackers, if they have been able to successfully spoof let's say, a legitimate domain, let's say they've been able to spoof this agent.com now. So you're seeing that the email comes from agent.com. It was the server that delivered it is one of the permitted server that can deliver email for agent. But in that email, I think I said it before, that in that email, once you open it and you click reply to, there are times that the email where that you're reply to, as long as you click on that reply to in that part, there are times that the email address or the domain that that email will be sent to is different. There are times that email is different, and the part that you are likely going to come across it is the return part, which is the part that specifies where your email will be sent to if you click on reply inside that email. I hope that's clear now. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Henry.
All right, sir. Someone asked a question earlier, but I did not get that. I think I was kicked out of our network or something, so I did not get the answer. Right? I think she asked that she saw a phishing email, rather she saw some. I forgot how the question was, but then it was supposed to be proper email, but then it flagged as phishing email. I did not get the answer you gave her.
Okay, I think you're
Sorry?
Yeah, please mute.
Oh, okay.
Second. All right. So I guess you're referring to Aisha's question. So our question was that she has seen where an email where the SPF, the DKIM, and the DMARC value are passed, and yet the what you call the email is still phishing. So my answer was that it is very possible for an email to pass the SPF, the DKIM, and the DMARC check and still what? And still be phishing, still be malicious. It all depends on the attacker. So your own now is to what? To ensure you try to use some other routes to what? To ascertain the authenticity of the email. That's just it. But when you see SPF pass, DKIM pass, DMARC pass, it does not 100% guarantee that that email is legit, that email is not malicious. I hope you get that now. Ebuka, I don't know if your hand is still up from the previous one or is a new one.
Sorry, it's from the previous one. It's down now.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, good evening. Oh, guess you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So for the email analysis, there was a time, sometime last year, I joined one session where they were talking about this email analysis. But at that point, I was not really following. I was still new to details. So what I still remember some of the things they said there. So I just want to ask here, because I remember one of the things they did while analyzing the email header. The moment they opened the header, just as you've opened, the instructor copied this entire screen, now everything on the header. He copied everything on the header and pasted it in another tool. I guess that tool is forgotten whether it is abuse.ip or something of that nature, or virus. It should be abuse.ip, something like that. So it was used to check for just to analyze the email header. So it brought out all these protocols we've talked about now, both the DMARC and everything. It showed the return paths, it showed the sender, it showed the IP and every other thing. So I just want to, if you're familiar with that, to shed more light to it and tell us if it's, I guess from what we did then, it showed that it was another way of doing it. So in this instance, too, can we repeat the same thing? Copy the entire body, the entire header here, take it to that tool, and then begin the analysis from there. Because when I did that, when I joined that live session, I wasn't really familiar with this whole stuff. I was just coming in. So now I'm seeing something similar to that. So just want to ask and throw more light to that. Thank you.
All right. So what you ask now is basically automation, not less. In fact, there's some AI agents that can do that now. You can copy this entire thing, paste it for the AI. So what they did, or what you're doing when you paste all of this for the AI is that instead of you being the one to be going through, okay, you are looking for the value for SPF, you're looking for the value for the DKIM, you're looking for return path, the XPAM, the this, the that. They will just automate everything for you. Once you paste it for the AI or whatever platform that was used then, it will just return the results for the necessary things, the essential information that you need to make your analysis. And then it can even make the what is it called, the final analysis for you that, okay, yeah, this seems to be safe or it is not. Do you understand? So it is just automation. It's nothing, what is it called? Nothing difficult. It's just automation. Do you get that, Emmanuel? Okay. Aisha.
Okay. Yes, I want to ask that the XPAM, is that the only thing that can differentiate a phishing mail from an email that's supposed to be in this spam?
Okay, you mean the score?
Yeah, the
The XPAM score.
XPAM score, yes.
No, it is not the only thing that can differentiate an email address from whether it's supposed to be spam or not. The DMARC checks for a lot of things, right? It can check for, let's say, maybe there are some particular terms or some particular words that are popularly seen in emails that end up in spam folder. So if it sees like quite a large number of those words, it can decide that, oh yes, this email is supposed to go to the spam folder. Another thing is, if let's say the sender, all these promotional emails that we get now sometimes, I know most people do not even open all those promotional emails. So there's a click by what do they call that thing, that the number of people that click on those emails, and the amount of time people spend on those emails. I believe you all know that all these things are being recorded. So if we have somebody, a particular domain now, maybe they used to send marketing emails, and people already know that these things are marketing emails and they do not used to open them. So imagine if they send it to 1,000 people, and these 1,000 people do not used to open those emails. The DMARC, the server that, let's say, for example, Gmail is using now, when that kind of email is sent to you, they can determine that by their record that, okay, this particular domain has sent email to about 1,000 subscribers, and this subscriber never opened this email. So it's possible they see it as spam or something that is just disturbing them and they do not need it. So it can decide to forward that to the spam folder as well. Another this thing that can happen is that, so let's say, for example, you have okay, let's just use an example of us inside this class now. Let's say Henry has Aisha's email address, and Henry normally send Aisha email maybe once or twice in a year. This is also going to be recorded. The number of times Henry used to send Aisha email. We all know about how behavior and signatures are being collated to build all these detection. Now, let's say after like 3 years of constantly sending just one or two emails a year, Henry suddenly starts sending like 10 emails in a day. Like you can see the jump. So the DMARC, by saying this, that this has gone outside of Henry's behavior, this has gone outside of Henry's signature. So it can be like, okay, maybe Henry's account has been hacked, and now the attacker is trying to bombard Aisha with email so that she will open it and then fall victim. So in that scenario, the DMARC can also decide to protect you and push that email to the spam. So it's not just the spam score. There are a lot of things that goes into how emails end up in spam. And also, if many people mark a particular email as spam, and the domain that is, the domain that will be attached to that email will automatically be marked as a domain that sends spam, spam email. For example, we know the way this thing works now. What's this Truecaller? The way Truecaller work, we know that when people start receiving calls from maybe all these OPay, PamPay, all these people that will be telling you that Buhari has come back to life and has decided to give you 100 million. You should call one Mr. Tunde to collect your money. You know that the moment some people receive all these calls, they will those people that use Truecaller, they will just tag those number. They will tag them as scam. You will see some people will even tag them as ritualists. right? So if you are now using Truecaller, you just downloaded Truecaller now, and then you now receive a call from that particular number. Maybe at the moment you receive the call, or at the time when you drop the call, you will see that Truecaller is going to work. It's going to come up and show you scammer, Mr. Tunde Ole, ritualist, all these kind of things that others have already tagged that number as. So this thing also works like that in email address, in emails. Do we get that? All right. Any other one? I only.
Well, I understand the concepts that you just explained. So I'm just looking at a scenario whereby maybe the rule change, either of the sender or the receiver, that prompts a regular update of sending emails. So in such a case, let me just say, for example, now it's like a daily report. It becomes a daily report in a work environment. It becomes a daily report hereby start sending mails of daily reports and the rest, unlike before, due to change of roles. And as a result, these might also trigger demand to actually, isolate such email, right? If I'm to get it correctly, or due to one policy or the other, it will just automatically know that yes, this email is good to go. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Okay, so it's not necessarily going to just say, based on the policy, yes, this thing is good to go. Like I said, if there's a deviation, like a what is it called, a considerable deviation from the normal activity, it is going to flag it as spam. Now, remember that when you open a spam email, you will always be asked, is this spam or not? So if, because something has changed and Henry has now started sending a lot of emails to Aisha and they are all legit emails. So the only thing Aisha has to do is, if she clicked on one or two of the emails in the spam, she just has to mark them as not spam. And the DMARC is going to what? It's going to update its record. It's going to begin to understand that, okay, maybe something has changed in the way Henry and Aisha communicate, hence the increase in the frequency of emails that are being sent. So it will just adjust after Aisha has marked. Sometimes it can be just once you mark it as not spam, and sometimes some of the emails will still end up in spam and you still have to mark them as not spam. But as time goes on, the DMARC will learn and it will stop pushing Henry's email to the spam folder. Is that clear now, Henry?
Yes.
All right. Thompson.
Good evening. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can. Good evening.
Okay, so thank you. It's been an exciting one. So I read somewhere when I was reading about phishing and all that when some criminals or rogue notice that when they send a phishing email, it goes straight to spam, and then of course they don't achieve their aim. There's a way they tweak their mail. They kind of like study why the thing is going to spam and all that. Then they now tweak their mail, and then it's now successfully enters inbox without going to spam. I don't know if you are aware about that.
Yes.
So in that scenario, can you explain probably what happened or what the issue was?
Okay. I think I explained something similar to what you just asked when we just talked about the pyramid of pain. That when you block something of an attacker, or when you stop one of their attack, what they do is they go back to learn why that attack was blocked. And then they build on that. So they will not just be attacking you blindly. They can't just be like, oh, let me launch this attack. If this one did not work, oh yeah, now let me launch another one. It doesn't make any sense. What do you call a good bad actor? It's funny to use that word, a good bad actor. Yeah, it is what it is. A good bad actor will not do that. Because, for example, as we the SOC analysts now, when an incident happens, when we kick off our incident response, there's a stage where we want to understand how the attacker got into our environment. With all the security measures that we have in place, how do those security measures fail to the point that the attacker was able to get into our network? Right? We always want to understand that in order to what? In order to build our detection rule or to what? To reconfigure our security software to be what? To be more updated to block those kind of attack. So the same happens when an attacker launches an attack that failed or the email gets sent to spam. So they try to what? To get the results, to find the reason why why that email gets sent to the spam. For example, it could be as a result, maybe they used so many words that are associated with emails that are sent to the spam. Right? So once they know this, they know that, okay, every other test that were run passed. They passed SPF, they passed DMARC, they passed DKIM, but the final point, the final reason their mail ended up in the spam was because they had some words, some well-known words that are associated with phishing email. They add it in their email. So what do you think the next thing would be for them to do? The next thing for them is to remove those words and replace them with something else. Because already they know that every other test passed. And if there's any other test that failed, they will what? Try to look for why that particular test failed. And then when they want to launch the attack again, they will ensure that they take that into consideration, they build on it and what? Come up with something different from what they had before. So that is how that thing works. You block it now, they go back, they learn again, they will rebuild, and then they will come back stronger.
Okay, right, well explained. So the way it is now, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
So the way it is now, the SOC analysts need to always be a step ahead because it seems these people are always being innovative in a negative way.
Yes. So actually, there was a time when I first got into SOC. I think I've said it before that I started out as penetration tester. When I first got into SOC, I will see when I able to block something, you know, that attacker mindset that I had already built will tell me that because I blocked this thing as an attacker, I could actually follow this other method and I will still get into the system. So that way, the blue teamer in me too will kick in to understand, okay, how do I block this if an attacker is sending me this, if they are taking these routes? And then there's this popular saying, Aruki is here, so if I'm wrong, he's going to correct that attackers do not sleep. So why should SOC analysts be sleeping too? When the attackers are not sleeping, why should the defenders be sleeping? So if the attackers takes one step, we the defenders, we need to take what? We need to take 10 steps. So yes, that's how it's supposed to be. No, I'm not going to say that's how it should be. It's supposed to be, but we know this is why we have zero trust. These people, some of them are just built differently. You might, as a defender, you might think, as a threat hunter, you might have think of 100 possible ways that any attack can be launched against you and how you can block them. And the moment you just close your eyes open them, one attacker would have gone 101. That one that you were not able to consider in that 100, maybe that is the one that we just use and come in, and then we start having 0-day attack. Anyone else? Okay. Since we do not have any other question, all right. Good night, everybody. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend.